Welcome to the morning session. Good morning, one and all present here. So, I would like to first of all welcome you into this morning. Hope you all are doing well and good at your health. And the today is the Saturday session. So let's start now. As we have done this in the morning, because the presenter is from the speaker is from USA. The timing differs for about 12 to 16 hours. So let's start with this topic. Today we are going to learn about nutritional yeast, the secret cheese. This topic is very new to us and as the speaker too. So today's speaker is Miss Mansi Shah. She has completed her master's from Anand University, Gujarat, and now she has been shifted to USA. Before going to USA, she has completed her work with McCain Foods, Patson Foods in Gujarat, and now she is working with Cream Cheese Factory in USA as an FSQA tech. So, what the role she plays, will look into. We identify and assist in the elimination of product concern, eliminate accurate, detailed compliance reports, and she makes decision providing guide, guidance regarding food safety as well as product quality, support initiative to drive and monitoring continuous improvements and support program document. So this was a short introduction to the today. So hereupon I call Miss Mansi ma'am to turn on the webcam and let's start with this session today. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
How are you doing
Your
today,
voice is still cutting.
Ma'am, your webcam isn't on yet.
Okay, we good. Mine is on.
No, ma'am, it's not visible. Yeah, now.
Is it coming up?
Yeah, it's showing now. So how are you doing, ma'am, today? So it's been great hours there.
Is it working?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's working.
Okay. So you want me to start?
Yes, ma'am. We can good to go.
Okay. All right, everybody. Very good morning to all of you. And I hope this unlocked you in and working good with all of you. And I hope everybody is back to work, but with the safer and all the safety providing to the company. So today I'm going to talk about the Nutrist, which is called as the secret cheese. And thanks Prafulia and all the organizers who are really doing a good job for making all of us together and doing some learning points being at home. So thanks Prafulia, Sripad and Satish. So would like to talk about today Nutritional Yeast, which is the very important and I can say a popular product right in the United States. And I think nobody know about that. Everybody have heard about the yeast, and we know about the yeast, which is we use for the baking and all the brewing the beer. But this is totally new and vegan and vegetarian, and I can say gluten-free option who people are the deficient for the containing the gluten. So today, and let me tell you one more thing before I start the whole presentation. I work as a FSQA, that is Food Safety Quality Assurance Analyst in the Cheesecake Factory. But today's topic, it is just the general introduction, and I can say a general brief idea about this product, which is very popular in India, which is popular very in United States, not in India, but it should be like very popular in India. So I'm gonna cover about the how it is made, what are the different classifications, and what are the different Then what is the difference between the baker's yeast and the nutritional yeast? What are their health benefits, its physical and flavor profile, health benefits, uses, and its side effect? So as everybody know, and as per the name, everybody can understand like, okay, it is a kind of a yeast. And when we talk about the yeast, we know one of the very well-known species, that is the Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So as per the name nutritional yeast, because of the word nutritional, everybody can know like, okay, it is something like nutraceuticals or a clinical or something, a food supplement. But let me tell you one thing, like it is very versatile and flexible, having all the properties, so you can really use in your daily diets, and it is real good for the improvising your immune system and energy and everything, which we will discuss on later on. So how it become popular, so sometimes if we talk about the some byproducts and also in 1920, some people find out like there are people are who are the deficients in a gluten, and people having the B12 vitamin deficiency, and for trial and error method they just invented some things, then they did some clinical researches, and after I can say from last 5 to 7 years it is very popular over here. So I don't want to make this presentation or these our 30-minute talk more boring, so I will not go to history, but I will just like to introduce all the brief aspect about the manufacturing, its benefits, how we can use it, and its side effects. So how it is sold, like the yeast, we know like some of the active yeast we use for the baking, which are the dry yeast and the active yeast. So some are in a very like like just like the small mustard seeds or poppy seeds, like very in a granular size. So this nutritional yeast is sold as flakes, granules, or powder, and sometimes it is found in the all of the spice section or most of the health food stores. So this is now very popular. So if you go or visit any health store, or I can say grocery store in United States, you will find this is very often, and people using just like as a salt and pepper. So as I'm introducing this one, so it is very common in vegan cookbooks and vegetarian restaurants for a long time, and that is also for the good reasons. And as I told you, like it is naturally low in a sodium and calories, as well as fat free, sugar free, gluten free, and vegan. And right now the concept is going like bread is also coming with some fortifications, some of our atta like wheat flour or all of the flour, people, I mean food technology, or I can say the food technologies are so much lucky, so we can fortify all the different stuff. So just like that, nutritional yeast also fortified with mainly with the folic acid and vitamin B12. So overall, if I introduce these product, it is a bundle of nutrients and very good and health conscious product which you can include in your diet. These are some pictures I have shown over here, like how it looks. I told like it is sometimes available in a flex, I can say like poha. So if you see the poha, or very the thin poha or the yellow color, if you will see very closely, then you can realize like, okay, this is the nutritional yeast. So this is just the pictures I have put over here so everybody can see like, okay, how it look like. So nutritional yeast is a very common name, but some common names like in different country, they pronounce or recognize this product as a different name. So in Australia, they called as a savory yeast flakes. In New Zealand, they called as a brewflex. In United States, they call nutritional yeast or hippie dust or noosh or yeshi. Now I told you like, and we all know being the food technologists, like there are a different three type of yeast: baker's yeast, brewer's yeast, and nutritional yeast. And as per the name, everybody know like, okay, baker's yeast for bread making or different types of bread or cakes or everything, we use the baker's yeast. So the baker's yeast can be purchased alive, and it is used to leaven the bread, and all the chemical compounds take place, and we know like that the air incorporation will be there, then it will work leavening agent, so the dough will be rise, and when we bake it, it will be nice and fluffy and spongy. So mainly, if I have to tell you like what are the different categories and how we can split it up. So bakers is it is killed during the cooking but add an earthy yeasty flavor to the bread. If we talk about the brewers is that is also purchased alive, but it is mainly used for brewing the beer. The dead yeast cells left over from the brewing process can be consumed as a nutritional supplement but have a very bitter taste. And if I talk about the nutritional yeast, this is grown specifically to be used as a food product, and the cells are killed during manufacturing and not alive in the final product. It is used in cooking and has a very cheesy, nutty, or savory flavor. So I told you, like I'm also using the nutritional yeast. So if you're gonna smell it, you will not like it. It's a very fishy, or I can say very strong nutty flavor. But when you add for your popcorn or in your mac and cheese or for making the pasta or anything, you will not realize like, okay, you will not have added the cheese, but the nutritional yeast. I think my voice is coming properly. Okay, so nutritionalists, there are again two categories. One is the fortified and one is the unfortified. As per the name suggests, we know like fortified means, as I told before, like we can fortified with some of the vitamins or some of the nutrients, and then we can dry and heating the matter. So meanwhile, I'm just sorry to, okay. My voice was not coming, so my organizer told me, so okay, I should be audible now. So just let me brief about the bakers yeast, brewers yeast, and nutritionalist if I have missed or if my voice was not clear. So as we all know, like baker is, it is killed during the cooking, but add a very earthy, yeasty flavor to bread. And everybody know that like right now during this pandemic, if nothing is available, everybody making pizza and bread and everything at home. So some people do not have the yeast. So they're using the baking soda and baking powder combination. But the result with the yeast and the result without the yeast, definitely it's gonna happen because of the its leavening property. So I was on a baker's yeast and brewer's yeast. As we all know, like the dead yeast cell left over from the brewing process can be consumed as a nutritional supplement, but have a very bitter taste. So as we all know, like beer and stuff, people who has to develop the taste, then only they can like it. Everybody can like bread, but everybody will not like the beer and the taste because of the different kind of yeast. It gonna have a different flavor. And when we talk about the most important nutritional yeast, so it is the yeast in which the cells are killed during the manufacturing and not alive in the final product. So that is the main difference. And if we classified nutritional yeast, there will be a two ways. One is the unfortified and fortified. And as I told, according to the name only, unfortified means we are not adding any nutrients or nothing, just the natural as it is. And the fortified means we just adding some vitamin B12 or folic acid or something, so we can fortify it with some nutrients. If we talk about some manufacturing process, so there are few steps. Mainly in manufacturing of the nutritional yeast, mainly 5 steps: seeding, cultivation, harvesting, fortification, and drying. So I will explain you step by step, and this will be very basic. I will not go in that much detail, like the detail of the fermentation of fermenter and how we have to harvest the yeast, but definitely I'm gonna give you the basic guidelines so everybody can understand, like, okay, how the nutritional yeast is made commercially in United States. As I told, like nutritional yeast is a very primarily available from the pure strains of Saccharomyces, which is grown on a mixture of cane or beet molasses. As we all know, like all the wines and beer, if you go to visit any wine vineyards or something, you will find like they have big farm of the grapes. So grapes having the natural sugar, and sugar means is the molasses. So on that surface, it's having the naturally present Saccharomyces yeast, and because of that, and when you process, you can have the brewer yeast and all the way like for the fermentation. So for the nutritional yeast, when you harvest the main strain of the yeast, after that the fermentation process is completed, and you will find the cream yeast. The cream yeast is heated by means of a heat exchanger and held at pasteurization temperature for a period long enough to inactivate the yeast. As I suggest, like what is the nutritional yeast? So in which the yeast will not be in an active form. So when we harvest the yeast, it is necessary to give some temperature process in which we can kill the yeast cells, but it will be work as a good nutrient product. So during this holding period, all necessary vitamins are added to meet the requirements of the specific type of nutritional yeast produced. The yeast is then drum dried before it is ground and shipped to the consumer. So here, as I told, like there are five main steps, which is the seeding. So first step is seeding. So in seeding, nutritional yeast production begins with a pure parent yeast, culture of the Saccharomyces. The seed yeast is typically grown in a sterile environment and eventually transferred to a container where it will be cultivated. So whatever will be the, we have some, in our commercial way, they have like, for example, if we have to make dahi at home, what we do, we just take the previous day or 1 spoon or 2 spoon of dahi from the whatever leftover, and then we add in our milk. So that previous, that 1 spoon, what we call in our food technology term, that is the culture. The same way in a big container, first we taking the nutritional, for the nutritional yeast, we taking the parent yeast culture from which we gonna produce the more. So first step is seeding, like from the parent yeast culture you have to cultivate the yeast and you have to make a stock yeast. So that process is called as a cultivation. So during this cultivation process, it is important to control the temperature and pH of the yeast in order to create the optimal growth condition. Yeast is given a purified medium of nutrients and air. So over here, it is very necessary to control the temperature and pH. Now, what will be the temperature and pH we can do? So optimum temperature for the growth of yeast in mesophilic range. I will not again go to the different criteria of the mesophilic and all the different kind of bacteria. So mainly yeast grow, that is the optimum temperature, that is 25 to 30 degree. But yeast can generally grow in a wide range, that is 0 degree to 47 degree. But the yeast mainly grow in a acidic condition only. Yeast cannot be grown in an alkaline condition. So over here, the temperature, it should be very necessary. We can maintain like in between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius and not more than 47 degrees Celsius. And the pH range will be 4 to 4.5. It should be acidic, not the alkaline condition. So we already take our parent culture and now we have cultivated the yeast. We have temperature and the pH range. So our yeast is started cultivated. So now the third step is the harvesting. Just like the product we do, like for example, if we have to grow the potatoes, what we do? So whatever the seeds of the or the roots of the potato we do with the soil, after a few days it gonna grow. After that we gonna found some roots, and after that once the product, our produce is ready, we can harvest. The same way the nutritional yeast gonna work, but it will be entirely in a sterile condition, in a lab, or I can say in a particular temperature region. So our third step will be the harvesting. Now how we can harvest the yeast, nobody know about that. It is very interesting, like how we can harvest the yeast. So once our growing process will be complete, the fermented yeast liquid is passed through a process which concentrate the yeast cells, and the result we can get will be the white liquid, which is called as the nutritional yeast cream. Here I would like to explain a little bit more. Like once you're done, like about the harvesting, so how harvesting is done. So what happened, like from the cultivation process, we have all the yeast slurry, right? Like we already have taken the yeast from the parent yeast. So after that, what we do in a commercial product, all the yeast slurry is we put in a big container or bowl or whatever you can call the mason jar or something, and we have to put those yeast slurry for 30 minutes to 1.5 hour. We have to give a rest. So what happened over here, because of the growth of the yeast cells, you will find three clear layers. So in the three layers, the top layer will be, you will find a pale tan color, which is mix of the yeast and water. The middle layer will be the very thin and having more solid white color, which is called as a cream yeast, which will be our nutritional yeast. And the bottom layer will be called as a trub, and which has a darker brownish color. So when harvesting, I mean, if somebody gonna ask you like, okay, in a lab, how they harvest the yeast? So it is very simple. During the harvesting, when you mix and when you settle down those, you will find three different layers. So first two layers will be our water with the yeast, and which is called as the nutritional cream yeast. Still we did not get our final product, but we are little bit, or I can say two steps far for having our final product. So after that, once you get your top layer and the middle layer, you have to settle down again for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And after that, you will see the exact separation of the yeast cells, well, which you can do the further production. So after that, once you got your yeast cells, now the time is fine. So what you can add, like some company add the natural, the natural product, I mean natural nutrients, and some in a some company, if they wanna do the not the that much expensive, they can just use the synthetic compounds. So after you got your yeast cells, the fortification process is done. So the cream, that means the the nutritional yeast cream which we found, it is then pasteurized and making the yeast inactive. This is the point at which fortification may occur, such as addition of vitamin B12 or sometimes the folic acid. Once you add all the nutrients, this is the time of the drying. So over here, why we needed the drying? So whatever you want, you can make the granular form, you can make the powder form. And commercially, I would like to introduce over here, like in a drying, sometimes they use the dry drying and sometimes they use the spray drying. So as we all know, the concept behind the drum drying, in drum drying is the big drum is over there, and it work as a lower temperature. So over rotating, we can produce the fine sheets of the dried material, so you can say the flax or something. And in a spray drying, it will be a rapid drying technique, and you will find the fine powder. But for the nutritional yeast, commercially they use drum drying or not the spray drying, because it causes some thermal degradation, and because of that it is called as a poor method. So whatever I have explained about the how we can find out or how we can do harvesting, I just show over here with the simple easy step. Like we got the yeast slurry, then you have to settle down for 30 minutes to 1.5 hour. After that, you will see the three layers, which is the top, middle and bottom. So top and middle will be our nutritional yeast with the water. After that, again you can pour those top two layer in another container, to be very careful, so you can have your yeast cells likewise that. And this is the example I have shown from the popular brand name, that is the Red Star Nutritional Yeast, which is one of the popular brand in United States. And over here, as you can see, like I was talking about the seeding yeast. So you see the first, the conical flask in which we have taken the culture from our parent yeast and we growing over there. Once we got our culture, we're doing the seed propagation, which is the cultivation, or we can say like from the small we making the stock yeast for big batch sizes. After that we using the trade fermenter. As we all know, like if we do the fermentation, definitely alcohol will be produced, ethanol or methanol, so you have to separate the alcohol as a byproduct or whatever. And then after that, when you use the trade fermenter, you can add the air molasses or nutrients or something. And after that, when you add all the ingredients, then as I suggest in a harvesting, you have to use the separator for produce the cream yeast, which was our top and middle layer. After that, you have to do pasteurization and fortification, which is the addition of vitamins or folic acid or any other nutrients you wanna add. After that, you will see like you have to cool down the, like if you do pasteurization, definitely you have to cool down that product so it will not be have any thermal losses or nutritional losses. After that, you have to cool down the cream yeast and then you can use the drum drying. As I told you, there are mainly two methods. Some maybe on a smaller batch size people use the spray drying, but in which we have lots of thermal degradation and we might lose some, the nutrients and the properties. So at a commercial, 90% commercially they use the drum drying, and then after that, however you want to pack or in a granular form of that, and it is ready to package, and you can send to the customer. So over here, I would just like to read it, or whatever I have explained, I have just put over here. So later on you can read and you can have idea like how the nutritional yeast is produced. So it is very easy to understand like what is the main difference between the nutritional yeast, baker's yeast and brewer's yeast. So after all this production process, whatever I have explained, I can just summarize if I have to reply on a one line like, okay, what is nutritional yeast? So nutritional yeast is the that kind of healthy ingredient or a seasoning which are inactive yeast cells having a lot of nutrients which are really good for your human body. Okay, another main topic is about the nutritional yeast versus the brewer's yeast. As I told, like yeast is having the common yeast strain, that is the cerevisiae, but they are different in a production process, nutritional value and uses. So as nutritional yeast is that much having nutrients, brewers yeast do not contain all the nutrients. Brewer's yeast is a byproduct of the beer brewing industry, usually grown on hops or grains. Well, the food industry grows nutritional yeast for its dietary uses only. Like you can skip the cheese and you can use the nutritional yeast. And I will explain you the different uses of the nutritional yeast on the next slide. So brewer's yeast will people use in a dried or a deactivated form as a nutritional supplement, but the nutritional is the growth medium will be the glucose or molasses, which makes the final product gluten free. So I told like in United States, people lactose intolerance, lot of people having they can't eat the gluten with the gluten diet. So over here you will find a lot of products which is having a different category. So nutritional yeast can be considered as a gluten free product. So the people who can't or who are a vegan, who can't eat milk and milk products, so they can't eat cheese, but they can uh, you know eat the nutritional yeast as a side product as a cheese. So depending on the growth medium, brewer's yeast may contain the gluten, but the nutritional yeast is a gluten free. And nutritional yeast is usually fortified with the vitamin B12 and thus more suitable for vegans who can be at risk of B12 deficiency. Brewer's yeast is natural and lower the blood sugar levels, and it has a bitter taste that might find unpleasant. I told you, like brewer's yeast, if you will visit any of the wineries or something, some people really can't tolerate the smell. It's very, very bitter and very, very fishy smell. Nutritional yeast also having not a good smell, but the taste is really nice, like nutty and cheesy. So you will really like to taste that. If we talk about the nutritional benefits, so as I told you, like it is the nutritional it is derived from a special non-GMO strain of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is the composition of protein and amino acid, which is very close to human beings. Human body requires a lot of amino acids, in which the nutritional yeast is one of them. We can have it in our body, and which is really good for your gut flora. Vegetarian source of high quality protein containing all essential amino acids. Natural and vegetarian source of vitamin B complex, especially B12. Significant quality of dietary fiber and low fat, and some of the biominerals like zinc, chromium, selenium, magnesium. So over here I have searched a lot of the datas and I found like, okay, this is the one in which you can see, like if you see the protein or fats or cholesterol, there is zero cholesterol, means there is no bad fat at all and sugar. So you can see like how nutritious it is. And if you see all the B complex, you see the amount of the vitamin B12. So nobody gonna eat the 100-gram cheese every day, but at least we eat 50-gram, or I can say, or weekly I can say we might be eating 100 to 300 grams. So look at the nutrients point of view. Some people are deficient in vitamin B12. If you eat regularly, I can say once in a week or thrice in a week, you will be good to go with all the nutrients. If we talk about the flavor profile, it provides the nutty, cheesy umami flavor. Umami flavor, everybody know about the MSG, monosodium glutamate, or Ajinomoto, which we use mainly for the Chinese, which give the different typical flavor. So nutritionalists give the same one. Then it have the light flavor enhancing properties. It increases the salt perception. It's having some natural salt. So because of that, you can avoid some salt content also. Like if you adding nutritional yeast in your pasta or in your popcorn or in your nachos, and you can decrease the amount of salt and cheese, and you can have this with the less sugar and salt content. It imparts a creamy mouthfeel and complements a dairy notes. Though it is not a milk or anything, but it will really give you that very, very nice and creamy flavor. If we talk about the physical profile, it's have the emulsifying properties, texturizing, good water binding capacity, reduction of syneresis, improves crispiness and Maillard reaction in metal fried foods. So when I'm going to explain you about all the uses, like for example, if we make Punjabi food or any Indian curry or a white sauce at home, what how we make? We just take a butter and little bit of white flour, we roast nicely, then we add milk and we add cheese, and after that only it will give you the creamy texture. But you do not need to add milk, or you do not need to add cheese, but when you add 2 or 3 spoon of nutritional yeast in your pasta or something, you will really feel creamy, or in your soup or in your curry. So just see how versatile properties it have, and you can really include in your diet. If you are health conscious, I would like to suggest please go for it, and it will real good. Okay, now we talk about the health benefits. So I have talked in general about the health benefits, how it is good for your gut flora, how it is good for your bowel, how it is good for your immune system, because it's having the fibers, it having the protein content, it have vitamin B complex. But let me little bit explain you more how they are good. So it support the immune system. So as we all know, like it having the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is good for the reduction of inflammation resulting from bacterial infection, and that's why it is also helpful for treating the diarrhea. Another will be it is really nice and give you the energy. It will be boosting your body with the good amount of energy, because generally nutritional yeast is fortified with vitamin B12 and folic acid, which are real good for provide energy to your body. So sometimes I told like some companies really fortified with some vitamins or nutrients, and some companies just use the synthetic compound. So now it's depend on you. And another thing, like nowadays people really think about the organic food and not organic food. So here this is the thing, like if you're thinking about organic food, you are really fond of the organic food, then here is the question come, like okay, let me see how manufacturer have made it. It is synthetic compound, or if they have used the natural evaporation. Nutritional yeast can be particularly helpful for vegetarians and vegans if it has added the vitamin B12, as vitamin B12 is mainly available if it's having the naturally, or if you can add it, it will be really good for the vegetarian or vegan people. And it is suggested by the clinical researchers like adults need about 2.4 microgram of vitamin B12 per day. Just 1/4 of a cup of nutritionalist provides more than 7 times this amount. That's what I was telling and discussing. Like, if let me go back to this table and you see vitamin B12 is like per 100 gram, it is available 117.33 microgram. And researchers has said that our body required every day 2.4. So now you calculate. So that's why I say, like, if you just consume twice in a week, then also you are good to go for having good amount of vitamin B12 in your body. Another important use is maybe all the girls will like it. Like, it is promoting skin, hair, and nail health. Some research suggests that nutritional yeast can combat the brittle nails and hair loss. It may also help reduce acne and improve other common skin problems, particularly in adolescents. Another will be the improving glucose sensitivity. Some people believe that nutritional yeast improve the glucose sensitivity in people with type 2 diabetes, but still there is some myths like, okay, there are some 50-50 research, like, okay, some research say that like it is really helpful for type 2 diabetes, and some are again. So still we don't know about that. But this is for the sure, as I'm keep telling, like this, they add the folic acid and vitamin B12, and sometimes nutritional yeast naturally having the chromium, which is the found in the yeast, which could lower fasting blood glucose levels and cholesterol in an animal model. Another is the supporting a healthy pregnancy. Nutritional yeast can also support a healthy pregnancy, and the US Preventive Service Task Force recommend that all women who are planning a pregnancy, if they can take 400 to 800 milligram of folic acid a day to prevent the vaginal abnormalities and support the growth of fetus, it would be real good. Like, let me go back and just see like how much folic acid they have. So if you see the thiamine, the folate, it have the 7,200 micrograms. So if you're gonna take a medicine, better to take some food which will really helpful to your body. So if you say, like, I just have discussed with some of the major health benefits which we really relate to our health. And now the thing is how we can use these. As I showed you, like, there are some different kind of the uh, it's in a granular form, it's in a powder form, it is really in a flex form. So you can use uh, whatever the way you like I use the granular form, it doesn't really matter. And they are the granular or the flex are so soft, like if you just use by the hand, it is like just become a powder. So I use, like, sometimes I use on my popcorn, like I like the cheesy flavor. So, but if I'm a health conscious, I would not like to use that much cheese on my diet. So what I do, once your popcorn is ready, just sprinkle just like a seasoning, and you will really feel the cheesy flavor. So you can sprinkle it on popcorn instead of butter or salt, mixing it into any recipe instead of Parmesan cheese. Like, as I told, like, it is real cheesy flavor. So anything with cheese you can replace with the nutritional yeast. Plus, you can make cheese sauce with that, or you can add in your curry or sauce for as a thickening agent. Then if you wanna roasting nuts like cashews or almonds or something, if you do microwave, just sprinkle little bit and you will real find a good thin coating of the cheese, which is real good for your health. So sometimes it is considered as a food raw material also, or nutraceutical also, which really enhance immunity, lose weight, and regulate blood lipids. Just imagine if you like to eat popcorn or nachos with cheese or mac and cheese and all the cheesy things, and if you're adding a lot of different type of the cheese, how much calories you gonna earn. So better option is if you can replace your regular cheese to the nutritional yeast, then it will be good to go. So these are some pictures I have shown, like how have the made the nacho cheese, nachos with the cheese. Popcorn you can sprinkle directly, then mac and cheese or pasta or something you can add it. In United States there are some prominent brands, and personally, like if somebody know, I would like to suggest like Bragg or the Bob's Red Mill. So this is just for the information, like how it looks, how the packaging come, and this is real just like our sugar, and so far it is in a huge amount available, and everybody is using, or I can say everybody keeping in their kitchen. And as we all know, like everything have a good things and bad things, so just like that, nutritional uh benefits also, nutritionalist having a lot of them, but meanwhile they have some side effects also. And like everything, if you consume in over, definitely it will give you some effect, though it's a medicine or food or anything. So, first side effect which researcher found, it is may cause unpleasant digestive side effects if introduced too quickly. Sometimes it's happened like your body, your gut flora is not used to have some kind of fiber. Then if you start, and if you're using very oftenly, then okay, but if you start use daily, it might give you some adverse effect. So just like that, like in fact, just 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes may provide about 5 grams of dietary fiber. That is about 20% of the recommended intake. A high fiber diet can promote the bowel regularity, but it's important to increase your fiber consumption regularly. Introducing too much fiber too quickly can lead to abdominal discomfort such as cramps or even diarrhea, especially if you are not used to eating high fiber foods. It happens and it is natural. So I would really not consider is a big side effect, but yes, better to know than knowing some half knowledge. Another side effect is sometimes it trigger a headache, or I can say migraine attacks. While nutritional, it is a greater source of many vitamin and minerals like B12 or zinc, but some yeast products contain compound like thiramine, which may trigger migraine attacks in some individuals. Like so, thiramine is the compound which is derived from the amino acid tyrosine and found naturally. It is naturally available in nutritionalists. We are not fortifying with that, but sometimes some people body is not like easily can handle some kind of the stuff, so maybe it can give you the adverse effect. Most individuals can enjoy thiramine containing foods without experiencing negative side effects, but some studies still know like it can be because of this compound, it can be the trigger the the headache or the migraine. Then it may cause some facial flushing. Like nutritional yeast is an excellent source of niacin. So just 1 tablespoon, that is the 11 grams of nutritional yeast flex, may provide over 38 milligram of niacin, which is the more than the double amount which we are taking the daily. So if you are consuming like just like if you're consuming nutritional yeast every day or twice in a day, so it will be a real you will be, your body will be over with the nutrients, so it will give you some discomfort, or I can say some your gut flora, or you will feel some cramps or something. Then yeast intolerance and inflammatory bowel disease, though relatively uncommon, some people may be intolerant about the nutritional yeast. So like it can be happen like inflammatory bowel disease, that is called as the IBD, because of the high fiber food, your body will not absorb, so you might feel diarrhea, or because of that you might feel some migraine, and it can be happen. So nevertheless, the role of dietary yeast in the development of IBD is still unclear, but you never know, like it was happening like just like the nutritional yeast. If I was trying very early and okay, I like the taste, so I was using little bit more, and if I'm using 2 times in a day, sometimes I feel like okay, my stomach is upset or something. So just like that, once your body is used to for having high fiber foods, it will not give you any adverse effects. So better if you know about this product and really aware about this stuff, like okay, how it is good for you or how it is the healthy option for you, take as limited use only. But nutritional yeast is a real good seasoning or a food additive or food ingredient which is replaced by the cheese. That's why I give today's topic name like nutritional yeast, the secret cheese. as per the name, you can't say like, okay, this is not the cheese, or it can have the this kind of property. So before I end my presentation, one another point I would like to discuss. Some might be question or some not, but I feel like it should be necessary to discuss. So in some researches, it is found as when I introduce the flavor profile, I use like it has some umami flavor, and I introduce like MSG, that is the monosodium glutamate. So sometimes the question come like, is the nutritional yeast and the MSG are the same, or if MSG is not good for the health, then what about the nutritional yeast? Because nutritional yeast is also having some natural occurring amino acids. So here I would like to brief little bit like yeast based product naturally contain the glutamic acid, which is the amino acid, and it is found in abundance in plant and animal proteins. So glutamic acid and the glutamate is the, I can say, the ionized form. So they are really essential for your life. Glutamic acid and glutamate, that is the ionized form, but they are really critical for your gut, brain, and immune health. If I will talk about some Chinese dishes, like we at the restaurant, we like the flavor, but if we make at a home, we feel like no, the taste is not good. And some people really use those. Ajinomoto is the common name, and in English or in our food technology language, we can say the monosodium glutamate. So in a few amounts it is okay, but if you use every day and if you use in over, it will be real critical for your gut, brain, and immune health. That's why before 2 3 years also the same problem and the big problem was came with the Maggie product, like they contain having a lot of MSG and all the stuff. So anyway, so if we talk about the nutritionalist and MSG, I can say that like it is the isolated sodium salt of the glutamic acid, which is synthetically created compound. But the MSG and the glutamate, they naturally having the glutamic acid. So really nutritionally, we are not adding MSG to the nutritional list. So here still it is a very sensitive topic, but I would like to say do not confuse with the nutritional yeast and MSG are the same, or MSG or the monosodium glutamate in a nutritional yeast is already available, but it is in a naturally available, which is in a very low amount. So if you consume the nutritional yeast, it will not give you any adverse effect the way MSG used to give. So one point that is the very important, and it was very in a discussion on a research topic, it was working like if the nutritional yeast and MSG was same or not. So I would like to tell that, and here I would like to end my presentation. And what I can say, like, I hope you will have a good understanding about the product or the knowledge I would like to share with you all. It is, I guess, it should be a new product for all of you, and you might have a lot of questions. But as I told, this is not the area I'm working, but I have enough, I can say, enough amount of knowledge. So let's see, if you have any questions, I would really appreciate and I would like to give the answers. But if I don't know, in advance, my apologies to you. And thank you really much for listening and having some information about this nutritionalist. Thank you so much. I would like to hand over to the organizers for the question answer section.
ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah. Back to the session. We'll,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you for this great, valuable knowledge you provided. It was very grateful to know about the nutritionalist. Now you can turn on your webcam so that we have a next part of our session is like question answer session. Please stop the sharing and turn on your webcam.
Okay.
Yeah, you can stop the sharing part. Yeah,
Okay.
good to go then. Let's have some. I've just note down
Is it
some.
available now?
Yes. I've just noted down some comments from our participants. So I will ask the queries and just try to solve it. Yeah. May I continue?
Okay.
Yeah. When exactly yeast get killed during process? And killing of yeast happens on own due to process, or it's like necessary step to do from our side.
You are not audible to me.
Okay. Good, I guess. I will pardon the
You are
question.
not audible. Can you
Hello.
pardon, please?
Yeah, sure. Uh, Question was when exactly yeast get killed during process? Killing of yeast happen on own due to process, or it's like necessary step to do from our side. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. You're muted. Sorry for the technical issue we are facing. Uh,
Hello.
yeah, ma'am. Hello.
Yes.
Did you get the query, or should I pardon? Just open the chat box, ma'am, so that I can.
Yeah.
Just,
Can you repeat? I didn't listen.
okay. It was when exactly yeast get killed during process, and killing of yeast happen on the own, or is it necessary to do it on our side?
Yes, feels like if I can say, if I replied like about the main few steps. So when you do the cultivation and harvesting, in a, as I told, like in a cultivation process, we give that particular temperature and pH. So as we all know, like the nature of a yeast or a bacteria, if we cross some kind of a temperature, definitely it's gonna kill. Like yeast cannot be alive beyond, I can say, 35 or 40. In studies they have told like maximum is 47-degree, but commercially I would like to say like 30-35-degree. Beyond that the yeast will not be alive. So it's just because of the process and because of the temperature only, I can say, like it will be the killed. It's not anybody has to do, it's just the process, and it is the production process of the nutritional yeast. Like we have to kill the cells, but it can remain all the nutrients.
Okay, ma'am. That's good. Next question is I've dropped you in the chat box. You can also read it. Next is, does high nucleic acid profile of yeast causes problem to consumer?
Okay. I can say that's a very good and interesting questions. And if we like commercially, it is a very right now it is very expensive technology. If you have to, you have to do DNA combine, and also I can say the high nucleic acid profile of yeast will not cause that much problem to consumer. Now it's again depend on the production process and fortification, which kind of nutrients you are really fortified, because some nutrients are really present in this Saccharomyces species. So it just depends. The future of the food technology, like if we can, we can produce some vitamins naturally by the yeast. Yes, it can be.
Next question is beyond, I guess, this topic. Uh, which is the yeast used in wine fermentation?
In a wine fermentation, it will be the species will be the same. And I can say in a wine fermentation is the natural, because of the natural fermentation, when you take the grapes, when you mush it, then when you put in a hop, that is wooden barrel, and when you crush it, because of the natural fermentation, the it gonna happen and the alcohol will be produced and the wine will be happen. The main species will be the Saccharomyces only, but it will be a n number of species and n number of strains. So I can't really say like, okay, this is the perfect strain we are using or we can use for the wine fermentation.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Next question is, how can anyone get the desired sample of yeast for household purpose?
I mean, for the use
Yeah, for the use, household use.
in in United States, or if you, I think if you go on Amazon, you will find in United States, if you go in any corner of United States, you will find nutritional yeast on all the grocery store, on all seasoning or spices section or additive section. So it is really easily available. And if somebody want to bring in India, I can say online you can search and you will have it. And it is not too expensive. I didn't tell you about the prices, but general prices is for 150 gram, it is the $5. So you can say like it is just like the different seasoning, the price is also not that much, and it is giving the really good flavor to your food, so it can be a good option.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next question is from participant. Instant question that if we consume the yeast by mistakenly, is it harmful to our body?
No, it depend on the which yeast you're talking about. Like if I can say baker's yeast or brewer's yeast, I don't think so it's gonna be available. But if I talk about the dry active yeast which we use for the baking the bread and all, yes, I don't think so it will be harmful to your body. But everybody know like they can't eat raw. On a packet also they have written down like you have to make them active. So I can say no, it will not harmful to your body. It doesn't mean you have to eat, so don't take me wrong. But if you do by mistake, yes, it will not be.
Uh, then that's all with the session, ma'am. With the question answer session. So hereupon, I thank you by behalf of all food techies and the organizing committee for giving your valuable time to us in this session, and a very important and valuable knowledge for the food technologies and coming up bakery professionalist, you can say. And thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much to all of you who has given the participation for this great learning session, which is really nicely done by all the organizers and especially the food techies. So go on Instagram and like this profile, and it is really good. Every day they give you some good updates. So this is my personal message. Like everybody, please go and like this channel and just go online and every day check for all the good updates. Thank you so much, and you all have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this. And yeah, have a good time and be safe with your family and all due to this pandemic. and
Sure.
see you soon after in the next session. Thank you for giving your valuable time. Yeah, now again I have to make an
All right.
announcement for
Thank
the
you.
yes. I have to make an announcement for the evening session today. Evening at 7 p.m. We have a industrial professional for the as a speaker. As our regular time is our 7 p.m. Today we have Mr. Govind Suryavanshi who will be talking about the changing regulatory landscapes for Indian food industries. Means like what are the prospects for the food industries are been changing day to day. The regulations, the new rules are being implemented for the food, and due to pandemic, you all know we have many restrictions in the food industries too. So today, Mr. Govind sir is going to tell us about everything regarding the rules, regulations in India, in abroad, etc. So let's. I'm inviting you to the evening session. Let's hope you all doing well, and we'll see you in the evening. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, just have a good time.